Just a quick ask before we get started. If you're on YouTube watching this, please hit that like button. You'd be helping me force these ass clowns to let me get a little bit more reach. It's pathetic how scared these idiots are of the conservative message. What a miserable bunch of cowards. Alright, back to work. Since self-accountability is never expected on the left, Democrats are really upset that Republicans are making them live by their own precedents. In the words of the great Chris Plant, if it wasn't for double standards, Democrats would have no standards at all. As we've discussed previously, during the last Congress, Democrat leadership broke the norm of allowing the minority party to dictate its members' committee assignments. This led to the ouster of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from all committees based on the farcical claim that she was a threat to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Another nonsense variable floating around in their empty heads was this ridiculous claim that Marjorie Taylor Greene believed in Jewish laser beams. Yeah, because every day is an IQ test when you're a Democrat. So, newly minted Speaker Kevin McCarthy vowed to enforce the rules Nancy Pelosi put in place to target Republicans, and so far, he's kept that promise. Removing Representative Ilhan Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee is the next step in the plan, and that was debated on the floor of the House on Thursday. So yeah, folks, it's popcorn time, because as expected, young female Democrats, much like cockroaches invading, knowing there's cameras everywhere, are going freaking ballistic, looking for their highly sought-after political Oscar nomination, and there's no one more willing to make a jackass out of oneself than good old dumb as a stump, useless as a pocket with a hole in it, Representative Rashida Tlaib. Here she is.
Is recognized.
I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Michigan, Representative Tlaib.
Just spit it out. Say what you want to say. Say what you mean to say. The angry brown woman over there at the podium.
The gentlewoman from Michigan is recognized for 1 minute.
Desperation. So desperate to distract the American people from their total inability to govern. The GOP is now doing what it is best at, weaponizing hate against a black, beautiful Muslim woman. Congresswoman Omar's lived experience as a refugee and a child of survivor of war should be welcomed on this committee. It is needed. When you can't pass any bills that actually improve the people's lives, they turn Congress into a place of fear-mongering hate. It is so painful to watch. How ironic that the so-called lovers of personal freedom are now moving to censor Congresswoman Omar in the same week they introduced a bill to ban federal employees from engaging in censorship. Where are the free speech warriors today? The hypocrisy is obvious to the American people. You are showing who you all are, really.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Omar will not be silenced.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Congresswoman Omar,
the gentlewoman's time has expired.
That our country is failing you today through this chamber. You belong
The gentlewoman
in
is
that
no longer recognized.
Did you notice at the end she began sobbing rather uncontrollably? That's called a testosterone spike, folks. Some men experience that in the gym at peak moments. But over what? The same standards that she applied to Greene are being applied to one of her political allies. It's really embarrassing to watch this play out. People have real problems in the United States, and Democrats are pissing and moaning and sobbing over a rabid anti-Semite being kicked off a specific committee she has no business being on anyway. You know, going into this was all planned, or as they say, an orchestrated effort. So Tlaib wasn't alone. Other members of the so-called squad stepped up to give their hysterical takes. Here's Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez bringing up 9/11 to defend a person who once said, quote, "Some people did something," about the historical atrocity.
Woman from New York, Representative Ocasio-Cortez.
The gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Now, As a fellow New Yorker, I think one of the things that we should talk about here is also one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting and racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America, and this is an extension of that legacy. Consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
You know, it's sick, sad, and disgusting, but not surprising that what Ocasio-Cortez takes from 9/11 isn't that Islamic terrorism is a threat, but that Americans are supposedly really mean to Muslims. If this were about her religion, there are several other Muslims in Congress, including Tlaib, who would be in the crosshairs. You see, Omar is an open anti-Semite who has not only harmed relations with an important ally in Israel, but has also said Israel being Jewish means it's not a legitimate democracy. She has been repeatedly condemned, yet still continues to make anti-Semite and false comments about Israel and the Jewish people in general. The House Foreign Affairs Committee exists to promote America's foreign policy, including towards its allies. Having someone like Omar sit on it is simply not defensible. Now, for our last clip, let's just say I saved the best for last. We have our newest dark horse candidate for dumbest special needs Democrat in the current field of active candidates, Representative Cori Bush. She stepped up to try and defend the incestuous Omar, and you'll be absolutely shocked to learn she blames white supremacy.
To the gentlewoman from Missouri, Representative Bush.
The gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
St. Louis and I rise in support of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. I've been to her district. I've spoken with her constituents. We visited marginalized communities globally together. This institution is better because of her leadership, and the Foreign Affairs Committee benefits from her perspective. So let's talk about what's really happening. Republicans are waging a blatantly Islamophobic and racist attack on Congresswoman Omar. And I've said it before, I will say it again. The white supremacy happening is unbelievable. This is despicable. It is Congresswoman Omar who has been harassed at her job for simply existing as a Muslim woman in Congress. It is she who has been attacked by a member of this body, ridiculing her as a potential terrorist for simply existing as a Muslim woman in this Congress. So rather than bring an actual accountability, any accountability to Congress, they bring this offensive resolution to the floor. This is just a bunch of racist gaslighting. We all know it. Vote no.
Yes. Of course, everything Democrats don't like is white supremacy. The phrase has become totally meaningless at this point, and seeing Cori Bush spew it only strikes me as, well, pathetic. Make a real argument, because Omar's race is not a factor here. Her being a radical anti-Semite that has hurt U.S. foreign relations is. So at the end of the day, the Democrats set the precedent that the majority party gets to dictate. They may not want to play by those rules they instituted, but tough shit. Pelosi and the rest of her clown show caucus should have thought about that before they stripped Green from her committee assignments. So let them go ballistic. Republicans, when it's all said and done, still hold the keys. A little extra clip here I found at the last minute. Just to sprinkle a little extra salt on the wound, McCarthy, I'm sure, had Georgie Boy, my new fave, get up there and add his 2 cents. Oh, the humanity.
Thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, today I rise to congratulate my colleagues on voting to remove Representative Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. The passage of H.R. 76 sends a strong message that we support Israel and the Jewish community. I urge the 118th Congress to now stand together, proudly upholding every single American, no matter race, pedigree, religion, nor creed, as any less American than their neighbor. That Jewish Americans are patriotic Americans, and that we all have a role in fighting bigotry and anti-Semitism in our country. We must make sure that the House of Representatives reflects such principles as a united body. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida?
Most of this came by way of redstate.com. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.